This is MoMakki, and you are watching another episode of Studio Time. Let's get it. So today I want to talk about a subject that's probably not so fabulous or entertaining, but it is something that is very important in the studio, and that is DAW management and file management. Having a good file management and DAW management is going to help you get to things quicker, work faster. It's just a better work ethic if you have these things in check. And it's something that took me a while to learn because I was, to be quite honest, a DAW slob. Like I would have files everywhere, things not named accurate. It was just a mess. So I had to get it together. So maybe I could help you if you're not that versed in file management and DAW management. So as you can see on my desktop, I have different external drives. One for my iTunes songs, one for Luna, which is my DAW, and then one SD drive that just has like pictures and videos and stuff in it. We'll go into my Luna DAW external drive. And as you can see, I got different things in here, right? Applications, the library, the Luna folder, which actually has everything as far as project files in it. And then my native instruments stuff are also saved on here. So let's go ahead and go into Luna. And as you can see, everything is broken down by album or client. And I also have a folder just for beats. Like when I'm making beats, this one has all my beats, and then it's broken down by the type of beat. So it's very easy to find. Like if an artist is like, hey, I want a hip hop beat, bam, I just go to the folder. Or, I want R&B, just go to the R&B folder and everything's right there. But we're going to go to the album that I'm currently working on, The Last Greyhounds of Oklahoma. And as you can see, all the songs that are on that album are listed here. We'll go to the first song, Back to You. And as you can see here, we have a Back to You master. So when I master the song, it's going to be in this particular folder. Back to You mix, the mix is going to be in this folder. And then any exported files will go here. So in the master track, you see the project folder is in here. The Back to You mix project, this folder is there. Then all the exported files are here. So when I'm done mixing a project, I will go ahead and put the BPMs, which this one happened to be 126, and then also the key, which is E flat major on this particular one. And that's going to help you with, when you're entering your publicist information, like say for instance BMI, they require that information. Or if you're loading to a website that you brought or have your songs posted on, most of those systems are going to require all of that information as well. So it's good to go ahead and have that on your file, so that way when you're loading it into these different systems, you'll have the information right there. Also in this file are all the instrument tracks for each instrument. And that's pretty much a breakdown of how I manage my files. Everything is very easy to find. You got your file for beats, you got your files for all of your clients, you got your files for maybe the albums that you're working on. And then within those files, you have each different song. And in those files, you have your master project folder, you have your mixing project folder, and your exported files. So everything is super easy to get to. So now let's go inside of one of these projects and see how the DAW is managed. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the tracks at the bottom. Now, I like to put numbers on each one of my tracks. It just makes it easy to follow, especially if you're using any type of external faders, or, maybe you have touch monitors or touch screens or whatnot. It just makes it easier to work between different tools. So I'll number it and then label it as you can see here: 2 kick, 3 808, 4 snare, and so on. So everything is labeled and everything is easy to find. Luckily with Luna, as long as you got it labeled easy, I could just hit 2 and bam, 2 pops up right here on the tracks list over here on the side. So if I don't feel like scrolling through everything and I know that I want to get to something, say for instance the bass, bam, it just pulls up right here and I'm good to go. I click on it and it goes right to it. Labeling your tracks is something that I highly suggest. And this just doesn't go for Luna. Any DAW will let you do this as far as labeling your tracks. Pro Tools, Studio One, Reaper, whatever. They all do that same thing. And as you can see, if you look over here to the bottom left, my groups are also labeled as well. So in Luna, you have a selection group, which is anything like, say, for instance, I want to group all of these drums. Bam, now they're all grouped together. So I can move them all. It just, Luna makes it super easy to do like a selection grouping without actually having to make a group because it's already there. And then as you can see, all my other groups here, the main vocal group, the verses, the ad-libs all have their own particular groups. So I would suggest also naming your groups as well. It also makes it a lot easier. Now, also another function on the tracks, if I double click on the track, it has comments right here. So maybe, there was something particular I did on the kick that I need to reference for later on. I would add that in the comments. Or maybe there's something I need to fix, but at the time, I couldn't finish that mix and I needed to get on to something else. I'll leave something in the comments that I can go back down just to remember what I did last. And all DAWs let you put a comment at least somewhere on the DAW. So it's always good to use that function if needed. Now, another thing that's really, really important to use, and every DAW has this function as well, is if you look up here where you see it says intro, is using your markers, because markers are going to make it a lot quicker for you to get in between the song. So as you can see, I can skip from the intro and go to the hook, to the verse, hook 2, verse, hook 3, and then the end. So I always like to start my intro as a green color, meaning go, and then my end is going to be a red color, just to symbolize the end or stop. And then all my colors in between. And I'm starting to do this now, like my hooks, and I don't think I did it on this one, but now I'm starting to keep all my hooks one color, and I'll use different colors for the verses or whatnot. But this is a good function just to check to make sure the first verse, the level of the audio is the same as the second verse. It's good to have your marker so that way you could just skip in between and verify that. Say for instance, I want to level match the hooks just to make sure that hook 1 and hook 2 are on the same level. So I'll go to hook 1, play it. Then I'll go straight to hook 2. And it's easy to tell right then that they're level matched. I don't have to change anything. You know what I mean? And you could do the same thing with the verses. So it just makes it really easy to set your markers and also label your markers. Because once you're in here, you can label them, you can color them. And this isn't just, a Luna thing. You could do this in Pro Tools and Studio One, any other DAW. But it's always good to have markers so that you can get around your track, especially when it comes to mixing and you need to get to something quickly. Another important part of DAW management is making things easy from the jump, and that means recording. I've noticed that some people are doing this new style of recording. I wouldn't say that it's new, but they'll do this style of recording where they'll record 4 bars, and then they'll go to another track and record another 4 bars. Particularly people that do this don't necessarily write. They're freestyling it in their head. They'll rap the first 4 bars, they'll go back, listen, come up with the next 4, or some just skip tracks and they'll just keep going that way. And that's cool. But you don't need to use a new track each time you do that. You only need 2 tracks to do that. So a lot of people will they'll record, the first 4 bars, go to another, create another track, do another 4 bars, create another track. You're just creating more work. You only need 2 tracks in order to do that. And these are just some things that I think are going to be very beneficial to you as far as file management and DAW management. I hope you all learned something today. Again, this is MoMakki, and you are watching Studio Time.